I don't know if he's slowly trying to build a position to the short side and then kind of overwhelm with volume to the downside, or if he is looking um, to really, kind of hold the market down just to cover his short. Because overnight inventory was basically, I mean, probably 90-10, if not 100% net long with that correction off the open. We got that big spike initially. We get this big spike here off of some Putin news. Putin said that Ukraine peace talks are going better. Got this pop up, and then retrace pretty much 100%. And now we came back down to the previous day's spike, not really holding above it and starting to build a lot of volume below it. So if price gets accepted here, could see a flush down lower. But it's interesting when you're looking at how these orders are trading here. The It's just so weird how every time price comes low, there's really no volume down here. And it was so thin all the way through. Kind of just looked like somebody had trapped somebody long, then forced them down, and is trying the same thing again here, but struggling a little bit more down lower. As people tend to be like, okay, if it goes in the previous day's range, buy it, and it happens to be. And then of course this settle right here is from B2, so Wednesday, but that B sell off kind of started right from that settle, so I consider that a weak high, to be honest. Luis, what's good, bro? Hit the likes. Yes, I would appreciate it if everyone could just go ahead and smash that like button. Some information out to people. We see Bitcoin had a similar spike around the same time. It was about 3:30 in the morning. Um, you know, that was just a driven event, and it came right back down. It's just kind of been flirting with our entry from the other day. This 31 or 39 136, just been kind of hanging out around there. That's the number. But I didn't delete the line because it just, I mean, this is kind of like almost like gravity. Trade room. Yeah, Luis, we're in there right now. I posted the link in the Discord. Jump on in. As far as the overall market goes, we can see we had a lot of green names early on. Some things flipped red. Tesla dragging the market down a bit. Apple, if Apple could get on board, and if we take a peek just at Apple real quick, um, you can kind of see had some rough days, but it is really kind of in this little balance. One thing to point out on Apple though is there is a little bit of a downtrend if we do swing out method starting to form, right? So it's starting to get tight here on Apple in this triangle. We do know kind of how these work, right? A lot of times they'll break out one way, come back, and either test and hold, or just flush right through. So um, I'm not really expecting too much craziness out of Apple today, just because there's not really any news-driven events. Biden was just on, and he said if um, he said the U.S. will not fight Russia in Ukraine, but they'll stand with the rest of the UN or whatever like that. So, and then he said if Russia uses chemical weapons, and they're going to pay a serious price. So, like 100 gold doubloons or something. Um, Morning, Jamie. But yeah, but so if we look at the tick, right, we've been kind of moving down on the tick, and now we're starting to balance out. So people are starting to buy. You can see a lot of the buying is actually coming in the weighted sectors. Um, coming on the weighted sectors. You can see healthcare is doing all right. Everything else besides energy is doing red. Take a peek at the heat map real quick. Fairly dim here, right? With some of the big names, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, getting a little bit of green today. If we look at the top stocks, the top 100 in the S, we can see a lot of green around, but a lot of our bigger names like Apple, Tesla, Facebook's just getting absolutely backed. Um, Facebook's down 2.25%. Actually, better than it was when I was out this morning. 1 second, gotta sneeze. Oh, excuse me, brother. What's up, bro? We got the creator of the TPO on think or was this Trading View in the chat with us this morning. So shout out, thank you. Share the love. Let's get some TTV so they can get their lives and stop working their lives away. Hell yeah, Steve, I like that. Away. Yeah, I'm actually gonna get some TTV in later today. We're gonna go to Top Golf today. Fucking lose that golf to my wife. Fucking hate Top Golf. I like Top Golf, but it's just like the games you play. You're just like, okay, you know, this isn't like real golf, right? If we were playing real golf, I'll whoop your ass. But I mean, it is very similar to golf. You do a lot of standing around, a lot of drinking. So that's why I like golf. Any game that you can drink beer and play seems like a good game.
Yep.
Morning, Patrick. You guys ever see that meme? There's a meme of you see this Team USA for early and here it is. Take a look at this. It's fucking hilarious. Says the U.S. men's curling team looks like a group of dads that were just trying to get away from their families for the weekend, but somehow ended up competing in the Olympics.
Nice.
Look, it kept going. Yeah, it's trying to get up there and take that B high. That B high is a weak high, but just not having any. You can see there's not really a lot of volume coming in, but we are starting to stay. And that kind of looked like buying off the previous day's high. That looked mechanical. That buying right there. But we can that B high, even if it just ticks one tick above it, I feel like it wants to correct it at least.
Oh, you're online.
Yeah, we're on the screen. The trade plan, I don't know if anyone took a peek at it. If you stayed up all night, it would have worked out great. I should have stayed up last night. Went to bed early. Just went up there and filled that gap, a couple ticks short of that gap. That was really just a news driven spike though, if I'm being nothing 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 I mean, it would have been you would have had already been in position if we take a peek. All of a sudden, shot up and then retraced. Pretty much 100% of the move got retraced. Fairly fairly weak. It's interesting. If you look from about really really from this B high, I mean the C high's kind of filled it in a little bit now, but that B high down to the spike, the volume was so thin while that B session was hanging out below here. Now we're back above the volume. So if this seller was real, the one that we keep seeing that's hiding about 3 points above price, if he was a real seller, um, he might be trapped now. Good odds that he did keep getting short, which it kept looking like it. It looked like he was shorting at 65 over and over and over and over and over. And then there was a lot of trades. If you look at the 63 quarter, or no, 60, there was almost double the amount, or about 1,000 more trades that traded on the ask than traded on the bid. And so that makes me think that he's shorting the 65 and buying the 60 and using that other order that's about 3 points above the current price to try to hold the price down so he could cover his whole position down here. And then he did it again, and then the third time, and it really looked like it seemed like that's what he was trying to do. Get Reckles, what's up, man? Yeah, Bitcoin. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of support down here in balance, and you can see we are making. I mean, even though we did have this, what do they call this in the crypto world? The Bart Simpson. Um, but we did make a high or low. That's at least some good news. You guys know how much I love these. So I mean, it's definitely getting tight. That's for sure. For sure. Yeah, I don't. I mean, it depends. So what's interesting is what I was talking about yesterday is I was saying if Bitcoin gets accepted in this lower balance, there's a good chance that it visits down here to this 36. But when it came down back into this balance, it came up quick back to our initial entry. Then tested high again, got rejected again, and you can see it kind of put in a little poor high a couple of times actually. But really it was just a capitulation. It looked like, and then right back to the middle. Like, what the fuck are those random letters? This definitely not Mr. Beast. What's up, man? This is the ES. This is called a time price opportunity chart. Right? It lets us see the value in the market. So if we take a peek at this, this is the S&P 500 futures here. We can see how value shifted down yesterday, but really was just kind of accepting very balanced profile. We had a run up overnight off of news, and then what it looks like here early morning is some sellers covering all of their shorts and possible continuation to the upside as we continue to build value higher. Right. So each letter is representation of a 30-minute price bar. The thing is, with the TPO, you can eliminate a lot of the noise off of your charts, all the wicks and all the nonsense that a lot of other people online will tell you how to trade. There's some mechanical selling off the B open. We're getting volume higher. Um, we're above that prior day high. It looks pretty decent to the upside. Oh yeah, Nasdaq trading was nice this week actually. If you were patient enough to just sit in some trades and let it run, it ran up, then it ran down, then it ran back up. It was nice. I'm good, man. How have you been? We just started streaming again. We haven't been streaming for a while. I had to take a little bit of break, but now we're back at it. Got my dad here today, trading right next to me, killing it. Doesn't matter where you kill it. Yeah, drinking his fucking green mystery drink that just looks like it doesn't taste good.
It's hell.
Oh,
It takes the edge off that celery. That's celery in it, which is really,
yeah, that's fucking nasty.
but healthy as fuck. So
Does your dad juice or does he have a mix?
He makes a mix.
Right on.
Yeah, he's healthy as fuck.
New bar.
Here we go, D session. Alex, did you see it? I put it on there. Everyone, I still have it. Yeah, I love that thing. That stop run video. So D session opens up. You get some sellers right off of the C high, so very mechanical. So this not necessarily saying like, okay, let's just get long right now because we're probably going to break that level. The odds are that we are going to break that level, but you've got to wait until buyers show up to get in there. Nice, get wrecked. Yeah, this week was nice. Yeah, we caught I actually caught most of this Bitcoin trade, which was actually pretty cool. I just stayed pretty patient, but it was nice for Bitcoin to actually, show some life finally.
What's going on, Brad? It's Lewis.
What's up, bro?
Nine. I'm in a short from the highs on Bitcoin, and I'm in a long from the lows. My entry on the low is 37,275.
What you're in from a while back.
My entry on Bitcoin on the short is 42,375.
Nice. So are you what's the point of having both of those positions open if you have a long and a short open?
Yeah, so I'm in a long from the lows, and I'm in a short from the highs.
Okay.
So like right, I can add to my long because I'm in such a good position.
Right.
I can just hedge myself with that short, and then in good spots at the lows, if it comes lower, I'll continually add to my long.
Okay.
Bring my entry up a touch and see if I can make some good money.
Okay, so you're just using that long or that short as a hedge on the pullback. Smart.
Yeah, and if it dumps, I'm still making
You're
money, and
covering.
I'm not
Yeah.
afraid.
Yeah, it's nice that you can do that. Yeah, on the ES or like the futures market, you'd have to use something else to hedge, like a different indice or something. So if you were long on the ES, you'd want to get short on the Dow or something like that to hedge. Because if you were to be long on the ES and then short the ES, you would just pretty much close your position. Does this definitely not Mr. Beast on Twitch, does that help you with the letters? I know it's kind of different or a separate account, yeah. Um but hopefully that helps. If not, keep coming back every day and you'll start to get it. Like the Matrix, bro. Watch the Matrix tonight, come back, watch this, and you'll be like, oh shit. And read the code. Oh, you got a short 42. Looking for the links. Oh, way down here towards the bottom of the balance. Yeah, that's a good spot to get long if you're patient enough. It gets down there. So this guy on the DOM, I'll bring this over so you get. Oh, this order right here is about 12 ticks above price, and he's just been sitting there even when price was down here. And so this is what I was talking about. That 60, all these orders that are hitting the ask compared to hitting the bid, right? It's about 1,000 more orders. So it looks like short covering right there to me, because we didn't really see a lot of buying. And so, but this order stayed, and as we moved up, he's just holding it. So that's what makes me think is that he's just letting price slowly grind up and telling someone, hey, if you want to buy it, you can buy it, but you're gonna have to come get me all the way up here. Because he did have another order, and this was when price was lower, that was on the 60 and it was about 300 lots, and it got just eaten up quick. So, Demas, what's up? Good to see you too. Or good to see your screen name.
There's also a resting order like 3 points below.
Oh yeah, there is. Yeah. Has that been there all morning? I haven't seen that all
It
morning.
has, yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like this barrier. It's like they won't let it go either way.
They're just keeping price in here, trying to get as much as they can. Alex, did you see that video on YouTube? Top one? I gotta add the sounds back. I don't have the sounds. Alright. Done some. And so we're coming into You said you wish your dad was trading with you. Teach him how to trade.
Tap back.
Yeah, back to the spike bait. So a lot of mechanical levels up here above. Oh, I don't know if I can play it on I don't know if I can play it on Zoom. I could do it, but it would be super small because it will only be in this little window. Watch, I'll show you. Be like this little window right here. Get the sounds back. Yeah, when I found that, I'm like, oh, that's perfect.
Oh, it ran up. Oh, it ran up.
Oh, earlier? Oh, yeah.
In D session. Well,
yeah.
I guess at the end of C session.
Yeah, it ran up and then D opened up and pushed it back down. That was perfect. Yeah, I wonder what game that was.
Probably an Ellen game.
A what?
Ellen? She has that TV show.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah,
She
probably.
has those crazy TV shows where
They play all those
things
weird
that happen.
Yeah. So those orders are still just sitting there. And so typically when price something like this is happening with price, what we're getting or what the market's kind of waiting for is for that retail crowd to really pick a side and just start to pile on. It does look like the tempo to the downside is picking up, right? It seems like we're moving to the downside a little bit easier than we're moving to the upside. But you know, with this huge overnight range, it could take a while to correct all of that overnight inventory. So just something to keep in mind. You can see Bitcoin coming down a little bit towards our little triangle low here. And then here's another thing too. If we're looking at the profile from today, just from the cash session, this is early on, up at 90. Right here, we saw this huge spike of volume, and so somebody, you know, probably got absorbed up here because it looks like a bunch of people were just smacking the ass, buying, 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 and then, you know, price ended up flushing down. We're coming back down towards that 60 where we saw a lot of that volume trade. And if you guys are on YouTube and the stream seems delayed, head over to Twitch and just type in Bitcoin Brad TTV, and there's no delay because I'm looking at YouTube on my computer and it looks like it's delayed a little bit.
Yeah, there was a delay when I was on YouTube and switched over at first.
Yeah, I think it is. I changed the settings. I don't know why. And sometimes there is no delay because sometimes the chat will come through when I'm watching YouTube faster than when it's on my like Streamlabs thing.
I think all the videos on YouTube are like 30 seconds delayed.
Well, there's a setting that you can pick that says like no stream delay because some people stream like video games, so they want the delay so people don't stream snipe them. But you don't have open interest in CBD on the mini. You mean on the ES, or I have cumulative volume delta down here in my CVD to look for divergences. I mean, you can kind of see a divergence right here pretty clearly. Higher than this. This high actually got higher. So I mean, not much. I don't know if I'd really draw anything from that, but it looks like it's matching up to me. Going down.
What is that on the bottom, Brad?
It's just cumulative volume delta.
Yeah, CVD. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I only pop it up like at the beginning to see if there's a divergence because I don't really go below the 30-minute chart when I'm trading crypto. So I mean, just having this thing up and looking at it, I mean, it's 30 minutes per bar. One divergence is not going to happen in one bar, you know. Oh, on the ES? On the ES, I don't tend to run any open interest or CVD or anything like that. I really just stick with the TPO. Yeah. Um, normal market. Oh yeah, the open interest only comes out at the end of every day, yeah. But I don't really look at it because I feel like a lot of times um it can help you or can kind of lead you into a bias, and I would try to just focus on what the chart is telling me than any of the outside information. Cumulative volume delta can be beneficial. Like if you look at the if we put the ES up here and let's see what contract this. We're trading the March contract, but they might have um the other contract up. But if you look at it on the ES at the T um if you look at the cumulative volume on the ES, it can be misleading because it's not really saying, you know, if it's trading on the bid or if it's actual buying and selling. It's just really bid or ask. So I really just like to use it for a divergence, and I don't really use it on the ES. I only really use it on crypto. The ES is liquid enough, I think, to just use the TPO and the volume. You're seeing here we're coming back down towards this low and kind of backfilling this low volume that was down here. And you know, if we are going to see some extension, they're going to try to push us inside yesterday's value, which is down here 49.50, and then acceptance into that value area. Probably, you know, their first target's been Globex low, the point of control, but good odds that we revisit that 42.1375, which is yesterday's value area low. You prefer CBD for lower time frame? Yeah, I just don't really look at anything like that, like a 1 or 5. Sometimes I look at the 15 on my tick chart like this, so we can see the ticks in the NYSE here. Sometimes I'll look at it like this, and this is on a 15. And sometimes I'll get this to 5 if I'm really trying to zoom in, and we can kind of see where the tick distribution's at, right? Mostly in the lower half, and this is below 0. So mostly selling, and you can see this is a weighted advanced decline. So most of the selling is happening in the heavier sectors. Look at Apple's down a full percent. When we just looked at this not too long ago, we had things that were up about 0.5%, and now everything's starting to get pretty ugly. There probably is a TPO chart for nickel futures, but nickel futures are the ticker. Nickel future. Well, the reason, So yeah, the reason that all of those commodities are up is because of everything that's going on with Russia. Like wheat went up. I mean, fucking pretty much everything went up. Even palladium or however the fuck you say that, whatever they make lightsabers out of, that's all the way up too. But I mean, it's just a commodity, just a bunch of commodity plays. What's up, Tommy? You guys see this though? Kellogg's. Kellogg just got smacked yesterday. Well, it's been getting smacked. While wheat's been going up, Kellogg's been getting smacked. Because what are they gonna have to do, you figure, right? If the price of wheat is going up and Kellogg's is a pretty high consumer of wheat, they're gonna have to raise their prices in order to stay, in business. And if you, I don't know if anyone's gone to the store to buy cereal lately, but if you live in California, cereal is more than gas. So it's like, the fuck? Or just drink some gas every morning, be cheaper than eating cereal. Nasdaq's being held by the decade VWAP. Yeah, I still think that Nasdaq has some room to come down. I don't have I didn't roll over, Tommy. I'll roll over on Monday. I think the volume's pretty close to balanced, so um see if they have it on this posted on the CM website. Cool. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So I mean it's pretty close. Like got 818 on the June contract, 859 on the March contract. I think it's kind of here and there. That's why I kind of think that we're getting a lot of this back and forth because I do think and we saw this last time if you guys remember back in December when we rolled over to the March contract, we actually saw a lot of people shorting one contract and longing the other contract to try to, you know, trick the people that were on one contract into getting into the other contract. So how much daily volume that futures market reach? Oh, in dollars? I don't know. I mean, typically we've been putting in lately about 1.5 million volume um throughout the day, sometimes more. Cash session this week has been pretty much about a million, except for on the 8th um was that big down day, I think. Yeah, the 8th was that big down day. That was like 1.7 mil in contracts. Yeah, contracts. I saw that gas is $7 in LA. Yeah, gas. I mean, gas is like 5.95 for me.
It's more than that.
And I'll be honest with you guys, like I had heard about the high gas prices, but I live in the north part of California, and I don't drive very much. And I went to fill my gas tank the other day. $9, where's that at? That's in LA? Oh shit. And I went to fill my gas, and I just put it in, put the card, and just like go inside and buy candy or something. Come back out, and I see that it's like $56 or some shit. I'm like, that's kind of higher than normal. Because I drive, an Altima, and the gas tank is like 13 gallons or 12 and a half gallons or some shit. I was like, well, goddamn. That's why I try to tell the kids that when I used to be a recruiter in high school, I'd be like, you want to know when you're a real adult is when you just go to the gas station, put it in, and let it fill up.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're
$5 at
20,
a time.
$20. Yeah, like can I get 20 on number 5? Yeah. That's how you know you're an adult. Because you don't have time to go to the gas station every fucking 2 days to put $20 in. You're long right now?
5 on the Emmy.
Nice. 5 contracts, you said?
Yeah.
Nice. Done for the day, and it's only 8:20. London closed in 10 minutes, guys. So if this is London closing out all of their shorts, which it definitely could be, look for the reverse. Yeah, it was a good spot to short. Luis shorted as well, and pretty much around that same spot. I was in a long right there, and just I waited till it came down to the single prints and ended up closing. Gave back a little bit of profit there, but I wanted to at least give it a chance. Haven't had a nice Bitcoin long that you were able to sit in for a while. So most of these Bitcoin longs that I've been in lately have just been quick, and really they just don't give us any follow through. We've got about, what is this? And 8 minutes until the London close, and the next period opens up. Certified beautician. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you. The next session is NYC. What we already started NYC about 2 hours ago. It's just they all overlap. So like for me in my time zone, the Asia session opens up 5 p.m. Well, you got Australia opens up at 2 or 3. Asia opens up at 5. London opens up at 1 a.m. Asia closes at 2 a.m. and then London closes at 8:30. The US session opens up at 6:30, and then we'll close here today at 1, and then the Australian session open up back at 3.
Today?
For crypto, yeah. Crypto
Oh,
doesn't stop over
crypto
the
doesn't
weekends. Yeah. But for the ES, I only have the chart on. So this is just all of Globex, and this is just the cash session. I don't track individual sessions on the other exchanges because there's just not a lot of liquidity. And plus, over in Asia, they probably haven't had a lot of chance to look at our market because their market's just been getting absolutely fucking smacked. Press this thing out. Let me show you guys something quick. I think their market was down like 10% or something yesterday. They're getting fucking just hammered. Groups. Go. Oh, here we go. The world map. I mean, you can see, some of their big names. Baba, one of the biggest names over there. Basically, like the Asian Amazon just got absolutely just demolished yesterday. I don't know if it shows there. If we can look just the. I mean, you can kind of see like this is the Chinese S&P, so to speak. And I mean, you've got one name in there that we can see without scrolling down that's green. So they've probably got enough going on. Um, so for the TPO chart for your trading view, what I did is I went in here and adjusted the hours. Or is it input? Adjusted the hours for my time zone. But you can use the 24-hour one, which is not a bad idea either. Um, it just depends on kind of your personal preference. With crypto, you get a little bit of information, especially you especially want to pay attention to when the Asia market's opening, because typically there's a lot of people that are trading crypto um in in Asia, and so if you're not paying attention to how they're trading it, definitely going to affect your trading performance. Those two orders are still there. You still got these two orders here, about 3 points on each side of the market, and they're kind of just bouncing around. You got one up here, about 3 points up, and then one down here, 3 points below, just kind of trying to hold the market in a spot. This is why it makes me think that they're just trying to hold the market down here um, to either build a position here. The tough thing is are they building a position up or down? We have no way to know for sure. Or they're looking to cover some shorts, which definitely could be a possibility if they're, like I said, I think, and if I was did anyone read the trade view last night and feel confused on my explanation? If you did, I'll just explain it right. Because it was tough to articulate into like a paragraph format. I should have just recorded a little video. So basically, let me get following profiles for a second. Okay. So basically what I was getting at is we had this prior balance up here, right? And then the market moved down on liquidation, moved down again on liquidation, and we had this huge move up, right? We actually opened up like up here, tested the downside, and then we kind of snuck in this balance zone, right? Trying to like kind of hide in there and be like, oh, don't mind me. I'm just here, right? Like you snuck in the back door at a party. And then the next day really didn't do anything. It was really just kind of a rebalance of the liquidation and all the buying. So all of this volume here just kind of figured itself out, right? Because settlement is, I mean, it's switching to 1 day settlements a lot of times. Um, 3DPL, what's that mean? Oh, you guys are talking about something. And so basically this is what this is kind of indicative of, or what it's kind of telling me, is that either this is acceptance in lower prices and that low is on its way, but probably next week depending on Powell, or it was just a rebalance and prepare for the CPI numbers, which did come out this day, and our CPI was here at this 30, was basically at this prior low, so it was this 30.75. This was where the CPI number came out. We popped up, we hung out below it a bunch, got above it, and then started to run. Overnight session really doesn't matter, right? Just was just a liquidation of all the people that were short, because inflation's 8%, the highest it's been in 100 years. Right? Don't pay attention to the numbers. I told you guys that yesterday. And then here we kind of have this spike up into that prior balance, and it's getting rejected a little bit. It's still staying near our spike, but that's what I talked about. If we start to keep spending a lot of time below this spike, there's good odds that we get accepted back in the previous day's value, and that would put us down here. And so what I was saying, if I was big money and I had been getting long smartly, right, and taking profit throughout this balance zone, which I just wasn't holding thing overnight, but big money is, it would make sense with the CPI, everyone's nervous about inflation. And then next week, Powell's going to be on, and who knows what he's going to say, right? If he comes out and says, fucking, we raise rates 50 basis points, market's just probably going to fall off a cliff. But that would be healthy for the economy. So he's pretty much damned if you do, damned if you do, damned if you don't, because if he doesn't raise rates, inflation's going to keep going up. If he does raise rates, the market's going to take a piss, but it's going to help combat some of this inflation that's going on. So, um, it's kind of in an interesting scenario. So, what's the best way to position yourself for something like that? We talked about how 2 days before is normally when big money likes to get positioned for that CPI number. And so, why not just liquidate everything that you were holding up here, liquidate it down, right? You're already in profit, buy it all back. And they did the same. I mean, it's almost kind of like deja vu. They just bought it all up, shot price up, took a bunch of profit, came back down, rebalanced their book, and overnight got squeezed up, and now they're just kind of balancing their book. The only thing you can't get too bearish yet because value is, it's not even overlapping, it's just higher. We opened up on a gap 2 days in a row, filled the gap, and value is forming higher, so you can't get too bearish yet, but you also can't get too bullish yet. Oh, uh-oh, I think we got it here. I think we got it. Look at this. No, I'm drawing a tractor. Oh shit, guys, did you see that? That was pretty good. That one was pretty good. We haven't had one of those in a while. We haven't done a lot of streams, so I haven't been drawing nonsense in a while. Yeah,
Brad, I just looked at that trade plan you put together. It's so nice, dude.
Thank you. I've got really lucky this week too. It's been pretty dead on. I've been pretty lucky this week.
You're doing those every day?
Yeah, it's something that when I was taking the Jim Dalton course, it was like not really required, but kind of required. He's like, you don't have to do this, but I'd like to see everyone's work every single day. And so I was like, you know what? If I'm going to be doing this anyways, I might as well just share it with my team. And so I started doing it in the class, and it helps me too because it helps me remain objective. And I was just like, well, might as well just keep doing it. It's helping me trade better. Might as well. And it really doesn't take very long. And a lot of times I'm going to be on the computer, during that time right after the market closes. I'm normally doing them around like 3 p.m. So like right after I get home from picking up the kids while they're doing their homework, I just knock that out real quick, and then whenever they're done, get on the Switch and just whoop their ass at Mario Kart. Oh, tactical analysis. What's up, man? Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Another fellow veteran and fellow crypto streamer. Cool. Short when it goes below the POC. So with that, with the TPO links, you're not really, the TPO is not going to give you a signal when to go long or to go short. What it is going to do is tell you where value is building at, right? And so we can see even here, when values this blue area, it pops up, it fails to build any value higher and comes right back to value. And typically, if you go above value and come back into value, and you can see it here, we're back inside the previous day's value area now. If you start to spend a lot of time, so we still got like 15 minutes till the next session opens up, but if the next session opens up inside this value area, there's really good odds that we test this 42.14. Just, but I prefer TPO more than market profile. It's the same thing. TPO is just, it's a time price opportunity. Market profile, they're the same thing. TPO is just like another word for it. What's going on in here? Freaking Sierra had me on one contract on the TPO and the other contract on the footprint. It happened to somebody yesterday too, actually. I don't know. Want to check your three? I want to get a three. My husband has one and prints all kinds of. Yeah, we're starting to get a little bit of volume down here on the. Starting to get a little bit of volume back down here off the low, but we had 300 contracts trade on that low. This will kind of be our ticket here. If we open up this next session inside value, there's pretty decent odds of situation. If not, well, I mean, it's pretty much going to leave single prints no matter what. So we're going to get a key sign at this session. So really, here, the best thing you can do would just be to wait till that F session opens up, and then whatever F session tells you, either if it fills a distribution, probably look for a good spot to get long. If it doesn't fill that distribution, the single prints, then get short. Amazing analysis as always. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. If you guys were ever wondering how to draw a tractor, now you know for sure. That's the best part about drawing is start and never know where you're gonna end up. It's like Bob Ross. That's why he enjoyed it so much. He just got on there, started painting shit, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh my god, the landscape." Drew it again right on top of it because every drawing needs a friend. So this is an interesting profile here that's forming. A lot of single prints on the top, a lot of single prints on the bottom, or excess, however you call it. But it's there was a lot of volume in the morning, so a lot of interest basically, so a lot of competition. Um, but below, we're not seeing as much volume coming in as we did off the morning. It is a little bit later in the day, so that kind of makes. What are you guys making of that? It's almost done actually. I just have to record the last session, or the last. I guess it's going to be like 3 sessions, but the last 3 videos, um, and it's just a replay chart. But what I might do, or actually, kind of what I plan to do, is to record those sessions on replay. But I've got to get a couple of the people that were in the previous boot camps to join me while I do the replay and talk through it so I can get those questions that are going to pop up um, when people that have never seen the TPO take the boot camp.
I'll do that, bro. I could ask some basic ass questions while you teach.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let you know. I think I probably do it. I might do it Saturday if you guys are down. If you guys are free. I think my wife.
We could do that.
Okay. But we're starting to see a little bit of cool down in the rest of the market here. You can see the tick is starting to, come up a little bit, but you're still getting more selling in the weighted sectors than anywhere else. And we've got Apple, down 2.5 or 2.2%. Apple's got the biggest market cap. So. I could definitely ask a basic question. Maybe you guys just think they're basic, but they're not. But yeah, I'll definitely let you guys know because that's basically the last thing I recorded. We can kind of see right here on that 4250, a lot of where the selling came in at. Above that, you can see there's a 61 right here, right, that 5150. A crazy person there. Only 61 contracts. There's a good chance that we come back and touch that. Right, just to refill it a little bit. 61 contracts is pretty thin for a cash session. There's 800, or no, let's see, 145 contracts only that traded right there too. Seems structurally, if this thing wants to hold the low or continue lower, that spot is probably going to be a target for buyers. It'll be a test of strength basically. So let's say buyers step up, they push price up. If sellers are going to hold, they're going to look to hold there. That makes sense because
Oh,
you're going to get some simple prints. New bar and still got. They're targeting that half back, and then they'll go for blowback slow and then point of control. The previous days have. Ooh, that was short covering right there. So right here, 36 is at, you had 20, 25, almost 2,600 trade on the ask. Hit your target fast. The vol on your right, this volume on the right, Tommy, is actually for the last 30 minutes. I actually, was it somebody helped me? It was PS12. I mean, he's in here, but I don't know. Patrick, that's what it is. Yeah, Patrick helped me put it for the bar. But then I basically had two TPOs open and I was kind of watching it, and I kind of like the last 30 minutes because then I can see as if we trade back into the previous bar's range quickly, I can kind of see how it traded in that spot, not having to look at another chart. Um, like to look at like a 30-minute volume profile chart to see how they traded it. I can just watch this. Yeah, you should set up the hotkeys on their chart. Yeah, I mean, I still like NinjaTrader. I think that the Acme tools are amazing. The thing is when I was running I wasn't even running YouTube. I was just doing my stream in the morning, or a Zoom and NinjaTrader, also with Thinkorswim, and it was causing my NinjaTrader to like lag out. So I don't know if it like pulls a bunch of RAM when it runs or what it does, but so watch that 61 contract, right? That 5150, and look for the response there. If you get a response from sellers, I could tell you that there's good odds that they want to try us lower, but if we just run through, look at it, paused right on it. Boom. So look who's there. Those sneaky mother. See, they're trying to trick us, guys. Caught them in the act. Jail for you now. Want to become famous? Buy followers, primes, and viewers on mountainviewers.com. Thank you, OXDQVID. Bam. I would block your comment, but I don't know. But James is far and he's not here. Wait. What was it? If you want to be famous, you can buy your fame. That's what rich people do. See, so that it came right back up to that 5150. You saw it pause and then boom, it puked back down. We identified, right? Everyone piece off of that. Not necessarily a piece of money, just the knowledge. That's where the real value is at, is in knowledge. They go to random channels and write spam BS. Yeah, I got like a bunch of on my Instagram. Like, so every time I post I stopped posting comments because it's just like, and every time I post a picture or anything, it just someone's like, spread it on whatever or something like that. And it's like they want you to pay you $15 and they share it with all of their other fake accounts that they fucking have, you know. Yeah, there is some volatility going on all of a sudden. Let me see. In any news. Oil won't ramp up without Biden support. Ukraine said zero progress in talks with Russia Thursday. Really that I'm seeing. Somebody posted on Twitter, these guys change their minds faster than ANYA, Anna? Anya changes her profile pics. I don't know who that is. He said you can't be bullish or bearish. Damn. He needs to discover the market profile, guys, huh? Teach this guy about TPL. And what weak-handed traders are, short-term time frame traders are. And he would know you can be both. Or you can just completely eliminate those two thoughts, bullish or bearish, out of your mind, and they're useless. Damn. Have you guys seen some of the yachts they've seized from these Russian oligarchs? Fucking Wolf of Wall Street style. This thing has a fucking helicopter on top.
Yeah.
So,
Can you show it?
Who's
Oh, yeah.
seasoning?
look
Russian
at-
government?
oh,
Holy shit.
yeah, the thing is sick. Yeah, that's nuts, huh? That thing.
Is that the trade bets yacht?
I wish.
That shit is gangster.
Breakout.
Yeah, the Chelsea owner he's a Russian oligarch, I think. Yeah, Tommy. Yeah, Tommy. Yeah, I was reading that last night. Like, it didn't say, it didn't say which club he was, but they said like one of the major club owners was one of these Russian oligarch guys. Back at that 5150, guys. Let's see how they act now. Remember they sold it last time. New session's 10 minutes away still. That yacht would fit in your yacht's pool.
How much you think a yacht like that cost?
I mean, you're talking probably 25 million for this one. And this one's not even like a huge one. There's a lot bigger yachts than this. And those yachts are probably $100 million. And that's the thing, is just like, I mean, I guess, and I was talking to my wife about this yesterday when we went to Target. We saw a Porsche, was it Talon? What's their race car that they made? I can't remember. Porsche Taycan. Is that what it was? Oh, Taycan's the Ford. Oh, it was this one. Yeah, it's this one. It was this car here. Um, it was a two-door one. I guess I was only gonna show Taycan.
Those are so ugly.
Yeah, they are. They look like fucking Subarus. It wasn't this one. It was a two-door. What's their?
I don't feel like Porsche is like one of the elite like
Four doors is
car makers anymore.
Dude, no, Porsche's still elite. These cars are nice. Only reason that Lambos and shit get that much credit is because all these fucking people, all the Wall Street bets Lambo people. But anyway, so we saw one of these cars, and I live in Yuba City, a town that has like 50,000 people. It's not, there's fucking nobody here. Yeah, Porsche are a driver's car, right? Exactly. They're nice. Like if you ever get in a Porsche, I mean that thing just grabs the ground and it hauls ass.
Nice.
But like we saw one yesterday, and I'm thinking like, why the fuck does someone have one of those? Like for me, the way I think about it, and maybe it's just because I'm not to that level of richness yet, but like for me, if I have $150,000 to spend on a car, I'm gonna buy an apartment building and fucking rent that bitch out, and then the money that you get on the income from those apartments, I'll use that to pay for my monthly payment on the Porsche if I wanted a Porsche, right? If I'm gonna get a fancy car, it's gonna be a Cadillac CTS-V because that's just the car I've always wanted, so I'll have to have it.
Did you see the new one nowadays? The CT5 Blackwing? Shit's
Yeah.
gangster.
The one of the I saw one the other day here. It was black and red. It was all black, but it had red calipers, and then the red that's in the Cadillac symbol. And then it had red interior. It was fucking, that's just gangster as fuck. But I'm thinking like, okay, maybe that's why these people aren't doing that, because we have a lot of farms here, and you'll see. I mean, even at the high schools here, some of the high school kids will be driving Maseratis and shit to school because it's their mom's old car or their whatever it is, because they own like orchards and just fields and fields and fields. And there's some dope money here too, because some of these houses that you'll drive by, like that are out in the middle of these orchards, you're talking, they look like a Scarface style. I'll go take a picture of one and post it in the Discord. I'm talking, 50-foot pillars in the front. You've got this huge fountain and a big old circle driveway. I'm talking like, movie style type. Like fucking, remember MC Hammer's house?
Oh yeah, way up on the hill.
Yeah. When I was a kid, we used to live like, well, not really close, but we used to ride our bikes up to MC Hammer's like the front of his driveway, and you can see how broke he was because he wasted all his money on fucking cars
House.
and his house. Yeah, stupid.
And
That's
he
what I don't
paid
understand.
people.
You've got money, make your money, make money. Like 50 Cent says, make money, make money. Right? People thought he was just saying make money twice in a row, but he was saying make money, make money. Make your money, make money. Your friend bought a Lambo 5 years ago after selling his company. 2 hours later, he crashed it. Oh, shitty. Oh, man. How unlucky. Sucks. That's no, I mean, that's what the guy that bought that, when they first came out with the Hellcat, like the one that has the 3 keys, he, put the super key in and fucking crashed it, like wrapped it around a pole. I think within like 5 miles of the dealership. Dumbass idea. Ballin'.
Crazy. What do you do in a situation like that? Call insurance?
If you've got money like that, you just get out and fucking walk away and buy a new car. That's not like, I think there's certain things, and I know this just about myself, that if I was on that level of richness and like I pulled up to a red light and there was nobody there, sorry, like,
I crashed in New York one time on the highway, And I just got out of the car, climbed the fence, jumped up where the people could walk, and jumped in the subway.
Yeah, especially in New York, like what can you do? Your car's just gonna be traffic is just insane. MC Hammer as well as myself thought the 90s would never end. Well, the thing is, MC Hammer he put he brought too many homeboys on with him, right? He surrounded himself with leeches instead of teaching his homeboys how to make money or how to be useful members of society. He just paid them to hang out with him. You know what I mean? And that's just a waste of fucking money. Yeah, that's what happened to Easy E too. Easy E was kind of doing the same shit. That's why Dr. Dre and I mean they don't really talk about it, but I'm that's what I kind of take from their beef is that Easy E was trying to bring the hood with them, and Dr. Dre was like, "Nah, we're leaving them behind. We're destined for greatness." So here we go. They held that 5150 again, and we've got the next session opening up in 4 minutes. They're still targeting. You know, if we open up inside of here, there's good odds the target's going to be that 13. And we've identified the seller. So if we get above that seller, guys, there's a little bit of selling up here, but once we start to get above the previous day's high, you're going to start to see a lot of capitulation from selling, and they'll start to cover. We have some weak references up here too, remember still. That D high is one tick shy of C high. That C high sold off right from the B open, and that B sold off right from the T2 settle. So, you know, pretty mechanical on the way down. But it's been like that. I mean, what we've seen like 2 weeks of just mechanical back and forth, just whoever decides that they want to be in charge that day just kind of bullies the market around. And you see this big spike of volume down here. This is where it was all traded on the bid, which kind of is making me think that it was a buy stop. Have you guys watched that? There's a show out right now called Super Pumped. Oh, okay. There's the delay. It's like 3 seconds. But yeah, MC Hammer and never taught any of his homeboys how to fish. Just thought he could keep catching enough fish for himself, and then you know after his next album came out, it was absolute shit. No one wanted it. What he should have done is fucking trademark parachute pants. They're coming back. At least here in the for the kids like that. You know what never goes out of style is a white t-shirt and jeans. I'm wearing a white t-shirt since I was 12 years old.
Some white Air Force Ones.
I've been on actually some 270s lately, some Air Max 270s. Getting old, bro. These are more comfortable. And I typically don't wear all white shoes because I'll fuck them up. So I have to get all black shoes. Because I'm that person that like if I go to the park with my kids and I'm wearing like some white Air Forces, but people are playing basketball, well, I'm gonna play. These shoes are just gonna get fucked up. So I do love my grandma's shoes, what people call them, the all white Air Max 90s. Those are comfortable too. I'll move to the East Coast. I have to switch back to my my DVS slippers.
You moved from Cali or to Cali?
I'm moving from Cali to the East Coast, so I'll be moving to the East Coast this summer.
What state on the east? I'm in Mass.
Yeah, I'm going to Pennsylvania. Yeah, I'm gonna be. I probably won't be far from you actually, because I'm gonna be Northeast Pennsylvania.
We'll be close, yo.
Yeah.
Closer than now, for sure. We definitely get up.
Oh, definitely. There's a bunch of people I plan to visit once we get situated on the East Coast. 'Cause Sean's over there in Maine. Um, Alex is in Minnesota. We've got that property up there, so I want to go up there in the winter and go ice fishing because I heard it's dope. Then I got to go over to London, go to an Arsenal game with Tommy, and go to a Manchester United game with Andy. And I want to go to fucking what's it called? James and I want to go to Colombia. Peter's down there around. And then Ireland is on mine and my wife's list for probably back to the motherland. So interesting here. F period opens up, doesn't take the low, and it's kind of just stuck right here in between these volume nodules. They have a Wendy's there. Oh, I'm trying to eat some of those whatever those fish that come out of that lake up there. They're like fucking 4 feet long fish. Called muskies. Anything's good with a little bit of butter and tahini. So we're starting to see a little bit of a bid here in oil too. Remember yesterday we had oil coming down pretty nice, but we're starting to see a little bid come in here in oil, and there goes F taking the low right there. So remember I said if we open inside the previous day's value, good odds that they come down here and look for that 13. Right now we're seeing a little people front running the halfback from yesterday. But we're starting to see, starting to see pretty big red everywhere. Breath. One pretty much being bought up as materials and energy. Everything else turning fair share. Real. They like made the new iPhone, it's the same pretty much. iPhone 13 is just a different color. 14 contracts traded on that low, guys. That's a pretty small number. Kevin O'Leary said he put 20% of his portfolio in crypto, including tokens and blockchain firm. But how long?
I thought Biden was going to give crypto the hammer, and all he did was hire some people to look at it. And they're looking at like stable coins, I think.
Yeah. They're looking at the technology to basically try to figure out how to capitalize on it. You know what I mean? They're just good. Well, that's why I mean, like I've always said, like I'm holding XRP, a fuckload of it, and I will never ever sell it because XRP honestly has the opportunity to get adopted by the banks, and for those of you guys that have ever worked for the federal government, you know that anything that they buy, technology, material, gear, anything is always from the cheapest bidder. And who's got the cheapest technology? XRP. And so if the US takes that technology and applies it into the financial system, they're going to have to pay a hefty, fee for it. And the chances are that XRP gets some positive from it. And if not, XRP is so cheap when I bought it, I guess if it goes to zero, then just
Okay, gotta go.
yeah, it's worth a shot. I mean, like, it's just, I understand that when I bought it, it was just like, all right, I just gotta put it in there, never look at it. That's the key, is just never look at it. Never look at it, and then when it eventually does happen, right, because it's predicted, religion ever, that a global currency will come, Antichrist and all that. When it
Crude oil
doesn't,
changed market structure.
what's that?
Crude oil was on the uprise, right? And now it's changing market structure because it's coming down.
Yeah, so it was on like this meteoric rise. If we switch it back, I mean, it went up just crazy, and then it came down a record amount, about, I think it was like 18% in a single day. And now it's still hanging out. The key thing is it's still above 100. All right, Pop, we'll see you later, man. The key thing is it's still above 100, and $100 a barrel is not good for the economy. So they've got to figure out how to lower gas prices. Someone's got someone's gonna have to give, basically, because right now Biden is in kind of a pickle because Trump got rid of like every regulation when it came to like drilling and fracking and all of that stuff. And then when Biden came on, he like put them all back on. So they're losing all the money from that. And so they're like, well, we'll just fucking hold gas prices up. And if you guys want gas, then your boy Biden needs to let this thing go. Right? What people are
Bro,
forgetting.
America would rather buy oil from another country than we can just drill it right here.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about money, right? Like, it's the same thing in California. We grow a fuckload of avocados, but we sell all the California avocados to the East Coast states, and then buy our avocados from Mexico because Mexico sells avocados for cheap as fuck, right? It's the same idea. It's just the money, right? Because on the East Coast they can't really grow avocados like we can grow them in California, and so it makes sense to sell them because they're a commodity. Especially they're really popular now, avocado toast and all that bullshit. But it's the same idea with the oil. The thing is what people are forgetting about is Enron. Remember, Enron did this in a different way back in the day. They figured out how to monopolize basically the energy market, and they were selling energy all over the country, or all over the Midwest grid or whatever it was, and just basically telling people in California fuck off. And then the governor of California at the time, Gray Davis, he tried to clap them back with some sanctions and shit, and they just found you've got these guys that are traders, are a lot of them, Harvard style educated people, or Harvard level educated people, lawyers and shit. And so they just figure out the loopholes, and then boom, started doing the loopholes. Yeah, the guy at Enron was doing a lot more shady things, but one of the things he was doing was exactly what the oil companies are kind of doing right now. And it's just like you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. And it's really, I think, is just about like a push, because they want to push towards renewable energy, not understanding that renewable energy literally takes coal to run. Like, windmills don't just run off wind. We know that, right? I mean, they help, but run off wind, not magic. So it's just, there's really just, it sucks because what's happening is the people that are paying the price are normal people. You call electric cars coal-powered cars? I mean, there's so many, like, I could talk about that kind of stuff all day because we talk about, like, the bad things that are happening in America, but most of those cars are powered off lithium, and where they get lithium from is like caves in Africa. People that go down in these caves and mine this stuff are making probably nothing. They're probably just happy to be alive because they're doing it at gunpoint. So I mean, there's just so much bad stuff going on, and nobody high up really gives a shit, and that's why you see the middle class and the lower class just get screwed. And it's like we talked about days ago. It's like no one wants to tax the super rich like a lot because they think that one day that's going to be them. If they become that rich, they don't want to get taxed like that. When in reality, the odds are not there, right? And you guys know I'm an odds player. I think after you have $1 billion, you don't really need it anymore, so you should have to give it all up. Like, you got $1 billion, bro. What else do you want? Like, Jesus. Greedy. And I mean, it's crazy to me that Jeff Bezos was included in a meeting about Russia. You know what I mean? Like, some fucking guy selling books out of his garage all of a sudden gets to go to these top secret clearance meetings. I don't know. Because he's rich as fuck. I think that's just kind of weird.
Motherfucker's probably a Russian spy, bro.
Well, I mean, no, it's just because, I mean, you've got to think about, they were probably asking him about supply chain, because who knows better supply chain than Jeff Bezos. He literally has a team of people who track the new things that people list to sell on Amazon, finds a way to produce them for lower, the good ones that sell a lot, and then sells them himself on Amazon for lower. So he uses, I mean, it's just genius, honestly. It really is just super smart. But he basically just like, he's like Walmarting every mom and pop shop that's on Amazon. You know what I mean? He just, because he has money. That's the thing. It's like fucking like TikTok and stuff like that. Those people that get famous, yeah, some of them came from nowhere, but a lot of them are fucking rich kids already. You know what I mean? Like, if you look, even like Jake Paul, like, yeah, Jake Paul's mega rich now because he fought Floyd Mayweather and shit, but you look at the early videos of Jake Paul, they're still doing stuff in those videos that, like, I'm thinking as, like, for me, like, what the fuck? These kids are like,
Logan fought Mayweather.
oh,
Jake-
they're like the same person to me. They're riding like fucking jet skis and all kinds of shit like that. Like, fucking jet skis unless you're a rich kid. Easy to get stuff out there when you're rich. I mean, look at everyone's favorite crypto trader. Right? Parents are millionaires.
Yeah, that one guy's still hanging there.
Yeah. That order. Both sides too. Slowly grabbing the market lower and lower.
Brad, whose parents you said are millionaires?
Crypto Face's parents are millionaires. Before he started trading, or before he became famous. Their wealth is in their corporations. That's true, but the way they have it set up, it should be illegal because basically they're running most of these corporations on on like a credit. So that's why when COVID happened, they basically came to a halt and all these companies were like begging for money. That's why it just, I don't know. Seems kind of shady for us, right? The people that get taxed the most, like middle class, lower class people, in comparison to how much money they're making, we bail out major corporations. Like, we bailed out the car company in 2008, and obviously America made a huge wrong bet. They should have bet on fucking Tesla, but they bet on what's it called? I don't really pick sides of political. I just like to look at both sides and try to find where the money. And I mean, I can't knock the hustle at all. I never. It obviously took a fuckload of work. I mean, Elon got so rich his hair grew back. Seems to happen a lot. Except for Jeff Bezos, he's embraced that bald head.
That dude got jacked after he got divorced.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I mean, dude, he he's so rich. He had them whatever their that bridge is out there. Where's it at? Is it New Hampshire or something like that? There's some bridge that was too low for him to drive his yacht under, so he's paying to get the bridge demoed and building it higher. Because so he can cruise his yacht where he wants to cruise his yacht. That's called balling. Oh, is it Denmark? Oh, okay, Denmark maybe. Something that's just, you know what? Fuck this bridge. Cut it down.
It's such a waste of money.
Yeah, but and that's the thing too, is like when he's got that much income coming in, what does he do with it all? Because he donates a lot of money, and Jeff Bezos actually buys a lot of shit. He buys a lot of companies. Um, and then Elon uses his extra money to fucking build spaceships, of course.
Yeah.
Jeff
Get
Bezos.
people into outer.
But that's because he thinks Elon is big on global warming, and he thinks eventually the Earth is.
Well, he also wants us to be a multi-planetary species in case something happens to the Earth.
Yeah. Yeah, Bezos did build that rocket. That's like some Dr. Evil shit. Straight out of the movie. That DOM is kind of deceiving because it auto scrolls, so it makes it going down and really balancing. You're seeing like them hold price here on this 43.50. See that? A lot of volume holding. Kind of a weak low as well. Right off history. I mean, this whole area, we've talked about this, right? From this like 65 or was it 60 to 55 was kind of a little bit of support. We saw some back and forth in there. Below that, below the 50, kind of drags us down to the 20, which is what we saw the previous day during Globex, and then yesterday we had a nice up, but there's not much support in here below till this well, the prior day low probably act a little bit of support, but this 4200 4195 is the next support below that. So they need to try to hold price below or above the 50 if they want to get any type of continuation to the upside. It is Friday, and some things that should definitely be on your docket are on the 15th and the 16th. We'll have the Fed, so eyes are going to definitely be on that. Eyes are definitely going to be on the news over the weekend to see if they say anything about, positive or negative about the war. Right, yesterday I was reading a bunch of stuff saying that Russia had Kiev, and I don't know how to say it. Kiev. Anyone know how to actually say it? Kiev. They had it surrounded. There's a fill of those that upper distribution. They had it surrounded. So that's I take that as bad news, as they're going to take over. And then also next Friday, I'm pretty sure is quad, which, well, yeah. Yeah, it is Friday quad. The H contract is just barely hanging out above the M contract here, though. Volume about 10,000. Yeah, so next week we have next Friday, monthly, weekly, and daily options will all expire on the same day. And that can cause a lot of rebalancing with gamma and stuff like that. How the market's positioned. So it'll make Friday really interesting because we have the Fed before Friday. Friday quad witching pops up, and it should give us some insight onto how they're positioning going forward. They'll have to rebalance, since we might get some keys. Unless we just keep chopping around, then we really won't be able to do anything, because they're just going to be rolling contracts instead of reposition. Sinister, oh shit. Sinister and psychopath. A lot about his behavior. Yeah, you can only tell. Expect, like, and you know what's funny too is when you're in the army, you meet people from all over the world, and so you can tell kind of like how people were wherever they're from, and like where they came from. Because I mean, you get really smart people join the army, really dumb people join the army, really rich people that join the army, really poor people that join the army. You know, it really is, the army really does have every aspect of the United States. It really is fairly inclusive, right? With the ultra rich only joining the Air Force. I'm kidding. But um, but like, you know, you get like a good culture. You develop a lot of culture because you see, you know, people from all over the country. And a lot of people, I mean, I don't know how it is all over the world, but a lot of people in the United States really don't leave their home state, unless it's for like a family vacation. But they don't go and live anywhere else. You know, they've never really been anywhere else, and so it's a culture shock for a lot of people. But you can tell the ones that are like,
I always find that weird that people don't travel like that.
Well, you were in the army. Thing is, like, for us it's normal, but for some people they're like, why would I leave? I have everything. But I mean, it really does, I think, help you in life, like traveling or just living somewhere else. My little brother's actually over in Spain right now. He's living doing a year abroad for college.
That's cool.
Yeah, probably join him. Not getting a lot of action out. Yeah, different states are like different countries. They really are. Yeah, right, Alex. We had a guy in my basic training, who was from Arkansas, and like, man, was he just, you know, white as white can be.
Speaking of Arkansas, did you see Bryce Mitchell in UFC this weekend?
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Beat up Barboza.
I don't know why they're having they're having Jorge Masvidal and whatever that other dude's name is fighting again. Yeah, Colby. Yeah. I want to see Colby fight what's the dude that lost to Khabib last?
Oh, Poirier.
Or no, not Poirier, the other
Oh,
guy.
Gaethje?
Gaethje, that's a fight I want to see. I want to see those two guys go.
Yeah, but they're in different weight classes.
Yeah, they could figure it out. They always do.
Gaethje's fighting Oliveira for the 155 strap coming up soon.
Yeah, I hope he wins too. I like Gaethje a lot.
He's not going to win. Oliveira's.
Yeah, Oliveira, he's a monster. But if Gaethje sticks with his game plan, he has a good opportunity because those leg kicks from Gaethje, they'll take people out quick.
And he's got fucking bricks for hands.
Yeah, he does have bricks for him. Because when he fought Khabib, he just got away from that leg kick and it was working. And then, I mean, Khabib's just like, you grew up wrestling bears. Fuck.
Legit wrestling bears as a kid. That Dagestani wrestling is crazy.
Yeah. And the best part is his dad's like standing there, like talking shit to him, like you're losing. Yeah, a lot of people talk smack about Khabib because his fights are kind of boring, but you talk about talking the talk and walking the walk. He literally said, he's like, I will smash your boy, #1 easy fight in lightweight division. And then he did. He just whooped Connor's ass.
Give me the chicken.
Yeah. And I'm a big Connor fan. I like Connor. But he did. I mean, once it went to the ground, that surprise punch that he got Connor with too really just kind of took Connor off of his bearings. I do think that Connor was going to beat Poirier if his leg didn't break though. He looked like he was beating Poirier's ass, to be honest. And all of a sudden his leg broke.
I highly doubt that, bro. I think Connor, he was really good, man. And I don't know. We'll see what happens when he comes back now.
Yeah, it'd be tough. Anderson came back and had a couple decent fights after he snapped his leg. I don't know, what's his name? What's the dude from New York's name? That snapped his leg too.
Chris Weidman.
Chris Weidman, yeah. I don't know. Has he came back and fought yet since he broke his leg?
No, see, he had a bunch of trouble, like, because the bone, when it broke, it also stabbed the muscle and it hurt a bunch of shit. He had to have surgery again, but I think he's doing good now. Like, he's in the gym or whatever.
You missed that trade to close the singles. Oh yeah, it did come right back up to that D high and then fell off again. It'll be interesting to see the close today, how they close it. They just close if they close it, so take a peek at this real quick. If price just kind of settles down here where it's at now, try to I'm gonna take the Globex session off so it doesn't. If we get accepted here and don't get any really extension to the upside, what we're starting to see here is balance forming lower. Right, so we have liquidation here. So if we were to look for balance, we'd start it here. You'd take it to the low. So our new balance low, our new balance zone would be here. So if we start to get accepted inside this middle range, as we came up to the top, we couldn't clear that top of balance. Chances are is the target's going to be the low of balance. The interesting thing is you have short covering P profile. This day was a B profile but then buying came in and just kind of settled, making this uppercase B. Today is, you know, I mean, almost like a trend day starting to form now. We were one time framing down since the open. Um, we opened up here and we haven't stopped one time framing down since the open. And so if they were to continue down, that this would probably be their overall target. The only thing kind of preventing me from jumping on board long term, like buying some, you know, puts that are out here down here, is because the Fed, I kind of expect, you know, this. And if you look back here, we had, you know, volatile days on the way down, and then the way up is just kind of look P B B P, uppercase B, get this kind of big point where no buyers get above. We left a gap, liquidation, short covering, more liquidation, but it's just longs liquidating, so not any new money selling. And what's interesting is it's like this time the pull down is a little bit more controlled, where here on the 24th, this was news driven, right? This is the day that Russia invaded Ukraine, was on the 24th. Then we popped back up, right? The biggest move up in history. Even though it didn't feel like it because most of it happened, it was a gap down and then a move up. But balance, this liquidation this time felt more controlled, right? Because we didn't gap down. This was a gap down and then a fill. This was just kind of slowly liquidating. So, you know, if it is gonna continue down, it's gonna be more of a bleed out than it'll be big liquidation without a catalyst, right? So if there's gonna have to be, you know, a news event, or Powell's gonna have to be like, you know what, we have to go 50 basis points on the rate hike. That could cause a little shot to the downside, but I don't really see the emotion in today's market as far as we've seen in the past couple of days. And the key kind of yesterday, we didn't really get a lot of emotion. There wasn't really a lot of reaction to that inflation report. But I think there isn't.
Brad,
What's up?
you think Putin's gonna keep going west?
I hope not. I don't know though. I mean, the objectively, the way that I look at it is, you know, he was having too many enemies touching his borders, and he just got sick of it. But he's smart enough to know that if he were to just invade a UN country that borders him, it would be full on, you know, he would have to come on with his whole world. But, you know,
It just cut his whole country off of everything.
yeah, I think that, and that's the terrible thing for the people of Russia, is that they're having to, you know, the people that suffer the consequences when things happen like this isn't the leaders of the country, the people. That's why my biggest thing for the military, you know, that people are like, well, what are you going to do if they execute martial law? And I'm like, well, as a soldier, when you sign up to protect the people and the Constitution. You don't sign up to protect the government officials. You know, you protect their rights as people, but if they're giving you unlawful or inhumane orders, you know, the law protects you from not listening. I mean, what's happening over there is kind of shitty, because not only did he kind of put them in the hot water, but then all of these countries are basically just like, well, we don't support the war, so we don't support Russia, when it's not necessarily the case. You know what I mean? The people are probably just like Americans, and, you know, fairly divided on political views or their view of the invasion in general. Probably pretty close. Who wants to be in it? Who wants to be out of it? And they just have to suffer, unfortunately. No McDonald's at all. No Nikes. How will they ever survive? And I mean, they do have a lot of wheat, but they import a lot of goods because they have a lot of people, in parts of their country, because Russia's gigantic. Parts of their country aren't really growing anything. It's basically covered in ice all year. Oh yeah, Tommy, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, when I'm saying, like, there's not a lot of emotion, I mean, like, as of, like, right now. But I think, like, because the news today has kind of just been nothing, and it's Friday, and no one really knows what they want to do. But yeah, any little news event. We saw, that spike from last night, just from Putin saying that peace talks were going well, was talking this. That's the load one profile. That's it. Yeah, this thing, because the news event was basically like right here at the open, 84 to 36. So that like 50 points up, just off of Putin saying that peace talks were going good. Nobody ever trusts anything he's saying, but when he says that, the market's like, oh shit, buy it. Like, what the fuck? So stupid. That's why, like, I think, like, did he actually say that, or did just like a US news network put that out and to trap a bunch of people to buy, Oh, there it goes. The volume just passed. The volume on the H contract looks like it just passed. Got passed by the M. Did. They're going for that Globex low here. Some currencies are going up here. 6B. British pound is going up. Down, Oh, that's what it is. Buy it because it's overextended. Yeah, it's on my chart. Yeah. Yeah, because the volume switched. Yeah, once we
Oh, are you going to switch it now?
Not right this second. I'll switch on Friday. Already committed to this one for the day.
It is Friday.
Well, till Monday. Till Friday's over.
Oh, okay.
It's not really gonna change any. Just gonna move this price down a little bit.
Yeah, it's just annoying.
What'd you switch it to?
The M, just the next contract. You also turn Ninja Trader off to do. Uh-oh. Loading all this.
So you did switch it.
I just switched it right now. just to see if the wanted to see volume right at the bottom. Let's see, it gets rid of all my. Still haven't taken that Globex low yet, according to this thing. Yeah, the mechanical references are still in the same spots. Yeah, so it's looking
What's up,
at
Brad?
27. Oh, what's up, Jared?
Oh, just getting your 2 cents on if you think we're gonna break these lows or we're gonna head back up.
Well, so because we have spent
A lot of time down here.
because we have spent a lot of time in the previous day's value area, there's good odds that we test this well, it's the 4 on this contract, but the 13 on the 8 contract. Oh, it's 9, about 10. Yeah, that's true. The sun should be high enough. Are you reading the chat? Oh, my bad, dude. Would you suggest to visit the first time? Oh, where would you suggest it? Cringe. Oh, my bad, dude. I wasn't reading the Twitch. Here we go. Catch up with you. The U.S. is going to make their own centralized stuff. At 96 to 98 is a level. If it gets down there. There's good odds though. You have proof of him? He just changed his name. Oh, oil. Yeah. You know, actually, I was looking at balls on oil. If it keeps getting beat up, it's not really getting beat up today though. It's actually kind of up about 3% today, but yeah, I think that would be a good level to buy. Well, I mean, I say it was this bullshit. I mean, that's the thing. I don't knock a hustle like that market cipher. Although I would never use it, I don't think it's really necessary because it's just a bunch of indicators kind of smashed together, and then the way that he, bought it was excellent. Got a bunch of people to buy it. Genius. It's just kind of shitty, but you can't. I don't tend to knock a person's. Whereas like the market profile, I mean, I'm actually a legit profitable trader with, statements from the bank to back it up. And this is just kind of, I mean, I didn't make up the market profile. Fucking old. Really old. Older than me. So if people were like, oh, market profile bullshit, I'm like, read about it, find out. Whereas like those other indicators, MACD, I mean, all of them, you can look at them individually or figure out, if you hit up, what's his name? Brother. He's a wizard. He probably combined all those indicators. Yeah, they are lagging.
Got suckered in, yo. And like last year, and when I first started crypto, I wound up buying Market Cipher.
I mean, yeah, and there's nothing. I mean, I bought an order flow tool for Ninja Trader that would cost $1,000. I never even use it. It happens because what happens is we as humans think that this thing is going to be the easy button for us, and naturally, like, okay, this thing's giving us these clear ass signals. I need it. we get it and realize that those signals are not as clear as they are in hindsight. And with the market profile, I mean, it does take time to understand how value is developing, but there's certain keys that if you understand the rules of market profile can at least keep you in the right track, right? Like we've been one time framing down since the open. So if you're buying the market, right, you're trying to time the bottom, right? Being impatient. Yeah, it's so nice to nail the bottom, right? And I'm sure everybody's done it. But for every time you nail the bottom, there's probably 2 times that you were wrong. But if you're patient, right, and let the market tell you what it wants to do, you can see if the market starts or starts to stop, has a cessation of one time framing, that's going to give you a signal like, okay, buyers are serious. But in reality, we haven't even seen any buyers, and then we finally found where the seller was at, and he was up. Was on the other chart, but at the other chart, he was at 51.50. We saw where he was at, and we're like, oh shit, there he is. That let's get short with him, and then we sold, right? And then down here, the thing that's interesting to me is look at how high this volume is in this bar, and we had 3 contracts trade on the low, 3, and the Globex low is right there, and we couldn't take it. No, so something like this, when I see something like this, good excess on the low, we could not take the Globex low. For right here, I'm not going to take any more shorts until we get up to the top of this, or close to the top of F, and it tells me, okay, are you guys going to keep selling it? And where's the top of F? Right at value area high. So if they're going to keep it inside yesterday's value area and keep pushing it towards our target of value area low, if you're trading the H, it's going to be 13 quarter, and if you're on the M, it's 0450. But getting short right now, you're already a little bit late. So it's better to be patient to keep it going, right? But my exactly, Alex. Yeah. I'll be right back. My dad's getting ready to leave, so. All right. Yeah, I mean, pretty much every indicator is lagging. And some of them can be good, right? Like if you're looking at a daily chart or yeah, go ahead. On the daily chart, I love to see where the 200 and the 50 are at, right? Because I know that a lot of people are looking at that. And so if a lot of people are watching it, it makes sense to look at it. But if you're looking at a fucking divergence on a 3-minute chart, I mean, like how many people are also looking at that divergence on a 3-minute chart? Yeah, it might work, but typically if whatever you're trading is going to make a move, it's going to require some help unless you just, you're a whale yourself. Yeah, divergences I think are supposed to be leading. That's why I really like, especially with crypto, I really like this CVD. And if I find divergences on here, I tend to trade them. I mean, there's a divergence right here. Oh no.
I have the 30-minute TPO for Bitcoin. Then I have a 5-minute footprint chart with the CVD under it. So I could see the volume coming in for each candle. And if I zoom out, you can see the CVD over time on the 5 minute. And that's where you get the best divergences, because over the 30 minute, you don't know when that divergence will play out. But for the 5 minute, it's pretty quick how they play out.
Yeah. If you're gonna be tracking divergences, especially on the ES, because most trades on the ES are not gonna take all day. Sometimes crypto, you just get in a trade and just fucking sits there and sits there and sits there and sits there and then finally goes. But yeah, that's not a bad idea. James is a big fan of that 5 minute order flow chart. He uses it. I'm trying to get him to record a class so I can put it in the boot camp because I took the order flow piece out of the boot camp. Yeah, there's a divergences indicator on Sierra chart, but I don't know. I don't know. I have to do more research on what it's picking up its divergences off of. But I mean, I'm not against certain things like let's see if this has indicators. Let's see if this has like a volatility stop or Chandler curl stop. I like the Cheney curl stop. So the way this Cheney curl stop, it's based off of an ATR, right? And it's basically saying if price is above to buy, if price is below to sell, but that's not actually what it's saying. What it's actually saying is where the stop should be based off of an ATR. So if you're underneath of it and you get into a short position, your stop should be here, right? So if it comes back up here, you should get out. I don't use it, but I think that if you have an issue identifying trend, it can be beneficial because it's based off ATR and direction, so it can kind of keep you on the right side of the market, right? And it can kind of tell you, like, I'll put it back on real quick. Change the color so we can. I'm gonna put them both in. Well, I'll just put them. This is how it is on like. I don't know. But anyway, so it kind of, I guess this one shows you both at the same time, but a lot of times it'll only show you the one, and so it can kind of tell you, like, if you're shorting above this roll stop, then you're shorting against the trend, right? So like if we're looking here, right here, we're below this. So if you're buying, you're kind of buying against the trend. And if there's something that can keep you on trend, or at least keep you from getting biased or getting pulled in the wrong direction, I'm not against that. I wouldn't use an indicator to buy or sell by itself. This was getting beat down pretty bad today. Interesting look at this volume, how it's forming up. Yeah, and I mean, really today, I mean, really this week, honestly, market profile has been fairly textbook. If we really take a peek at it, right today, like we said, one time framing down, a lot of people probably thought that, this was a good spot to buy. Until we take some of those mechanical stops, we don't see any sign of strength for buyers, so we don't just buy just to buy, right? We wait. The previous day, this day, we saw them liquidate early on, We saw a poor low, another poor low, right? So that would be a target for a correction, that Friday low. But we saw how people tried to force the market down and then liquidation off of a bunch of weak references on the upside. And then even the day before, this day was just a cleanup. This grind higher was a cleanup of all of these weak highs that we had from the previous day. And so you've seen just, they're mechanically going up, mechanically coming down, mechanically going up, mechanically going down. They're really, it's been, fairly textbook this past couple of weeks. And a lot of times, kind of what the market's acting like is kind of acting like a summer market right now. And so, except for the summer market, the ranges won't be this big. You definitely won't have, I mean, I can't say definitely, but a lot of times in the summer, we won't have 100 point, 50 point ranges even on the day. Why do poor lows form? So poor lows can form one of two ways. One way that a poor low can form is if there's, let's say, well, this isn't a poor low, but let's say this F period came down to one tick below or two ticks above, and couldn't break. We can assume that either there's a buyer here and he stepped up and cut selling off, which is what this is. I am assuming that only 3 contracts trading on the bottom. Somebody is buying the Globex low, probably front running it and trying to get filled on the way down, but eventually just got caught and then market retraced. Or another way a poor low can form is just selling just runs out, right? The supply is just gone, and no one wants to sell down here, right? And the way that I like to explain it is if you are at a farmer's market and you have apples, you're selling them for 42.40, and you're seeing how many people have sold them at 42.40 when people are offering you 42.20. Why would you sell any of your apples? Just be patient, hold on to the apples. The farmers market doesn't close for a couple more hours. What time is it? It's like 10 right now. So you got 3 more hours till the farmers market closes. Why not just wait to get up here to sell some more for $20 more expensive, right? And then I mean, there's that's the simplest way to explain it. That's not I mean, there's a lot of other things going on, right? It also depends on how many other people are selling apples at the farmers market, how many people are there at the farmers market buying apples, right? It really depends on the auction process, which is what the profile shows us. The graphical representation. The what's the definition of a map? Where's Luis at? He should know. The fucking board question. Graphical representation of the auction process.
I'm right here. Sorry, I was letting the dog out.
In the Bitcoin's breaking the time frame right off the low of that. Those huge arrows. What's the divergence from? Can you pick? Like, is it a stochastics divergence? Like, what is it? What indicator is it using to diverge from?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how it works. I don't know what it's using.
Hey Luis, if you weren't on yesterday, check out the. Oh, were you? You were.
No, it was not.
Oh,
I
okay.
missed it.
Yeah, check out the YouTube video. It's saved on YouTube. Alex gave like his presentation on how he's been trading what he calls shit coins. And I mean he's been just killing it lately, and he gives like a really in-depth good explanation. So I would Absolute shit. That's right. Absolute Bitcoins. And you should check it out. Definitely worth the watch.
All right, we'll do.
So that's the thing is it's what I like to do is when I see something like this is more of just like a market generated information that I'm taking note of. And if the market so here's our next session, H period just opened up. As this session bids down, if it doesn't trade this 3 again, I'm basically gonna draw an X on my chart and say bottoms in, and let me look for a good spot for confirmation. That's gonna be above the G high, right? Because that's gonna be cessation of one time framing. And after we get above there, am I seeing extra buyers coming in? I want to see some initiated buying, and some short covering, which is gonna be buying as well, for me to get on board with that, to look, and then I have to also try to identify where I'm trying to take profit at. Well, this F high has really thin volume. This is probably a spot that we're going to see some rotation or some possible selling. So where can I put my stop if I get in, right? And so now I'm thinking, okay, I'll put my stop 2 ticks below the G high. That way, on the retest, give them a little bit of space, and I can target here. So I'm looking for an entry right here, 38, 38.50, targeting this 42 to 44. So we're looking at about 4 to 6, maybe a runner a little bit farther, and we're keeping a nice tight stop, close to a 2 point, maybe a little bit more than a 2 point stop. Is it gonna work? I have no idea. But that's just, this is what's going on inside my head and how I'm thinking about it on the chart, as the chart's forming right here. So we're seeing a little bit of volume come in, right? We're seeing them hold. These guys they're staying on the ask, right? Buyers are smacking the ask. That's what we like to see. Really thin on the bid side, so not a lot of selling. There's the rebid. So now we want buyers to step up here and take us up to got to get above that 37.75.
Nothing's worse, Brad, than when you're speaking and I'm like in an opposite trade. I've been in the short for 40 minutes and you're like, here we go. This is what we want to see. We're going to pop up. I'm like, son of a.
I
40
mean,
minutes I've been in this trade. I'm like, Jesus Christ, can I get some continuation?
yeah, I
It's just
mean,
not carrying through at the bottom. It's just.
yeah, they started to run out of steam down there. I mean, they might not, if they don't get initiated buying, and it's definitely struggling up here as far as seeing some buyers step up, and you are seeing some sellers try to absorb up here. But it's kind of just back and forth. It's not really anything pretty. A
You'd
nice
be so
little
proud, Brad.
up.
I'm not even sweating it. I only got one on.
Nice. Is that the funded account?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no problem. Senpai. Is that how it is say it? Senpai teach? You were right, but you were wrong first. Yeah. That's the worst, when you're right on a trade and then wrong on a trade in the same trade.
That used to be the story of my life, man. I swear, I was always know the direction, but I get in too early and get stopped out. I just became patient.
That's Jared's. That's like, sounds like Jared's life too, actually. Don't laugh at me.
Yeah, I picked the direction real well. I always know when it's going to go up and when it's going to go down. I just
Those
wrong
entries.
timing.
Yeah.
Yeah, wrong timing. I might take a 10-point hit first, but I knew we were going up.
Set my stop loss too tight.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's tough with this market here to have really anything tighter than a 3-point stop is
Oh my God. Better get some continuation on the downside right here.
6 contracts on that top tick. You're still seeing some selling, and if you look on that 40, there's 129 lots looking to try to hold the market down until they get absorbed. So watch how they trade right here. They're on the 40.
Jesus. Are we going back up
Someone
or
just
what?
bought them, all of them. That was funny.
You didn't know we were going up? I knew we were going up.
I said we were going up, didn't I, Jared?
Yeah, you did, Brad. Okay. I'm asking the market. Okay. I'm waiting for it to tell me.
It's
Because
gonna.
right now it's telling me we're about to skyrocket and I'm 2 points away from my stop loss.
Me too. My take profit stop loss, that's at 44.
Must be nice.
So look at the volume. Look at the volume coming in. If see how this big in comparison, right? It's just kind of a little bit bigger. Boom, hits. That's telling you there's interest up here. So there's interest in competition, right? People, if there's volume, there's good odds for continuation because that's telling you that people want to compete. This goes back to where is this guy going to sell his apples at? Well, he's going to sell them up here. So it's expected to get a little bit of resistance. Now this H high is mechanical, and we've seen mechanical highs all day. So, if you're still holding along, and your stop is below your entry, that's the wrong answer here because we've seen mechanical sellers win all day. You've got to be ready, finger on the flat, or ready to close that over. Because look what's happening. Weak sauce, 6 contracts on the top. They call dog shit.
I almost added to my position up there, but I was so scared.
I say weak sauce all the time, bro. That's cool that you said that.
So can a poor high and low happen on every session? It could, yeah. And we see a lot of these, especially these past couple of sessions, a lot of mechanical. But we see a lot of poor highs and poor lows. And when it comes to crypto, you're gonna have to adjust your thought as far as 1 tick, 2 tick equals poor high, poor low, right? Like if you looked up here, if we're just looking at a bar chart and you looked up here and you looked at this, for me, I'm saying that's a poor high, right? I look down here, good excess. And this is a full session, of course, right? But I think this is good excess. These are mechanical. So I think this is a weak reference. The difference, and a big difference that I'm starting to discover as I start to converse with more technical traders, is when I see a double bottom or triple bottom or quad bottom, I don't look at it as like, ooh, that's a lot of support. I look at it as that's weak as fuck. And the next time we get close to that, I want to catch a piece of that. Right. But I'm not just saying, so like right here, we have this quad top or triple top. And on a 30-minute chart, right, it would just look like 3, even look, is this the right contract? Yeah, this is the right contract. So if we look at it, right, it's like 3 30-minute bars just kind of smacking up against each other right at the top. People are like, ooh, that's a real seller right there. Nope. Right. And so I'm not saying that we want to just get long because we know that's there, because then you would be trying to catch this falling knife. But now we've had a cessation of one time framing. Now we know the sellers are not as strong down here, and no one wants to sell any of these apples down here. And so if we can get back up here, get some more volume, take that FI is weak. And what can happen, and what I'm looking to capitalize on later in the day today, is going to be a short covering rally, right? Because if this thing starts to cover, it can really unwind really fast. But just like I said, when we were up here and we got 6 contracts on the top and didn't take that FI right away, I'm not going to just sit in this trade even and let it come back down and bounce around. I'm out, right? And if it gets back up here and gets some volume, well, guess what? I'll jump back in and try to take these targets. But just simply identifying something like this and saying, oh, that's good. And what happens is a lot of technical traders do this and they're like, oh, resistance. When it gets up here, what will happen is it will get sold off of here, right? Probably. It'll probably smack this line. It'll probably bounce back down to where the volume's at, to convince the people that are trading with price, right, who are tracking price to get short more. They're already short, not knowing that big money is just ready to unwind. Right? They don't care. Or small money, short-term time frame traders are ready to unwind. They don't care. They'll flip, right? Because they're probably going to cover most of their position here, and then when it gets here, they're just cut their line, and either you'll see a book flip or it'll just go. As of right now, they understand how weak the buying is, and they've been able to mechanically sell this thing down all day, which is why that H high scared me. Ditch out of my long trade because I don't want to sit in it forever. Will we get the opportunity to do it again? Looks like it, but no way to know for sure. And anyone that tells you that they know, just a fucking liar. Nobody knows. No way to know. And timing, timing really is so key. If the global financial crisis happened in 2010 and not 2008 and 9, guess what? No one would fucking know who Michael Burry is. Because he would have to close his fucking position because he didn't have enough margin to keep holding. He'd be
You're wrong, Brad. I know what the market's going to do.
Yeah.
It's going to do the exact opposite of everything I do. So the market should just follow me and then just do the opposite.
Well, that's normally how I run my options plays. Jared calls me and he's like, yo, get long on Rivian. I'm like, yeah, thank you. And then just short the fuck out of it.
That's because you're always battling against everything I do.
Look at this.
And you just got more money, so you're gonna win.
Look at this thing.
I never once said anything about Rivian. I just want everybody to know that.
Rivian just got fucking smacked so hard, those stupid fucks. And this is also another thing. If those of you guys that weren't here yesterday, Amazon, right, gapped up that yesterday, and I think Amazon's still green today. It's up about 0.5% today, but you see the big gap up off of the news of their reverse split that's coming up. Jared, if you've got 3,000 extra bucks, you should just buy one share of Amazon at least, because it's doing 20 to 1 split. So a pretty good investment, I think. You'll have 20 shares of Amazon. Okay. But what's interesting is that this gap up, and if we remember back here, this gap up was caused by Rivian's earnings were just like amazing. But then now that Russia invaded and they get a lot of their materials, they just said that they're going to have to cancel orders and raise prices. And so people are canceling a lot of pre-orders. And so they're just, they're shitting the bed pretty hard. So it's interesting that if Amazon powered up like that over their earnings, but now Rivian's getting beat down pretty bad, how come Amazon's not feeling the blow? They felt the positive win, but that negative win somehow hasn't affected them yet.
They sold.
Maybe I have no idea. There's no way to know. They probably did, because literally after they announced they were a huge investor in Rivian started taking a shit. So Jeff Bezos probably like. But the thing is, Rivian was also created off of a SPAC, and those SPACs are pretty much. Every SPAC company so far has been pretty much shit. It's normally gone up, and then turned to shit. Look at what was the other one?
You're probably thinking of Lucid, Workhorse.
Workhorse is fucking $3. Yeah, Lucid is actually doing. I don't think they're doing as bad.
No, they're doing bad, bro.
Yeah, they are. I haven't looked at the Lucid chart in a while.
I'm a shareholder.
Oh yeah, Lucid's not getting good. And I tried to tell you about this. I'm pretty sure when you told me about Lucid too, I was like, no, it's shit, don't buy it. And you were like,
I bought it at $8.
oh well, you're chilling at that though. Yeah. But I mean, in my experience, when stocks do these splits, they tend to catch a little pump, and this is a good opportunity for a lot of retail traders to be able to buy some Amazon for their long term when they do split. So if you can buy one before they split, you'll have 20 shares of Amazon, and then when the retail crowd starts piling in, when they get down to, I think they'll be like $300 or so, it'll pump up. You should be able to, what I'm going to do is sell half of the shares that I buy for a profit, because it'll probably flush down a little bit after the novelty wears off, and I'll be all locked in profit because I'll have already regained the money that I spent on buying the shares. Called the ghetto spread. Want to hear a fun fact? Of course. The last Amazon stock split was right before the .com bubble. That's true. But Amazon back then wasn't really shit, so they were just splitting stocks to try to get investors. They had to back then.
They were just Radio Shack.
I miss Radio
Steroids.
Shack. Be better. Yeah, Amazon wasn't fucking selling library books out of his garage. Genius. No, they actually announced that they stopped selling books recently. I love jokes, of course. Pretty much jokes all day. I live my life. So much easier to live like with comedy than all day. It's a dangerous line because you could live in Jared's fantasy land as well. So
Brad, you watch the USDT chart instead of the USD chart?
yeah, I normally watch it because that's what I trade. I trade the USDT, so that's normally the chart that I watch. So here we go. We're back above. Let's look for some buyers to come in. If they start to come in, we should see the kind of filling of that weak volume area, or might just skip right over it and just start to short cover. But it's gonna take initiated buying. Fucking buyers show up. Those look kind of thin. And the seller is still here. Take a peek at this. This guy's still just sitting here. There's this 200 lot order is about 3 points off of the bid and the ask, and this same thing, this buy order, about 200 lot order that's been sitting there back and forth pretty much all day today, saying about 3 points above and 3 points below the bid and the ask. I don't know, Tommy. To be honest with you, I'm not sure. I've seen a lot where they will stay above or below, and that's kind of what I thought was happening early on. Is that they were trapping? I thought that they were trapping a bunch of buyers up here, and then we had that nice little sell off, and then here I thought when we got down here that they were covering a lot, and it did look like they were covering a lot, but I think when it came back up, they realized that there was really no buying, and they just kind of took this move that they did up here and did it again down here, and now down here they're like, oh shit, it's Friday, fucking 1 o'clock, the boat leaves at 2, I gotta fucking get my shit together and get out of here. So they're like, hey Jeff, get over here, manage these trades and don't fuck them up, and when I come back on Monday, I swear to God you'll be fired if they're fucked up. Right? That's just how I imagine the desk is. Because most of the time on Friday is going to be more junior traders on the desk than. Especially with today being, pretty much balanced for the most part. Kind of little cliffs on both sides. You're still holding
Think
that short?
there's any chance, Brad, we're gonna go test the 41.98?
41.98?
Mm-hmm.
I do think there is opportunity for 4,200 to 4,295. And then that previous day's value area low is the 4,204 if you're on the M contract. But if you're on the H contract, that 42 13, I think, Why couldn't the bicycle stand up by itself? Why? It was too tired. Classic. Watch that 6, 25, 46, 80. There you go. Still just sitting there. That order's still just sitting. So I expect them to do some backfilling here, try to build up some of this volume, give people the opportunity to buy some of these for cheaper. That's why I think that order is above and below, is so they can kind of hold price in an area, and forcing. I think they've identified that there's not really any big money today, and they're just bullying the market wherever they want. So they just put it in one spot. Because if you've noticed, we've just kind of sat in one spot a lot of the time. So we spent a lot of time around this area here. We spent a lot of time right here. Nothing down here. We had no time spent here, but now we're starting to spend a little bit of time here. Bunch of time here, a little bit lower bunch of time. Up here, we spent not a bunch of time, but a bunch of volume came in early on. Same thing here. And all of those times we had orders just sitting like this, and price was just going like this, going like this. They were getting filled, they moved it down, they did the same thing here. Price was sitting above and below. Then you had a liquidation. Price has just been sitting here. That order had been sitting above and below. A little bit bigger range on the bottom. Mechanical H low probably is what sparked it. Some people flipped. People that have been selling all day, probably, now that I look at that, people that have been selling all day, once we broke this G high, probably started buying. And target is going to be back to here to get a little bit more of this. Those orders are still just sitting like this. They'll just keep getting it in. And that's just my my best estimation. A way to know for sure. Just what makes sense structurally and with the volume as well. And if we look back here, I have it zoomed out on my screen. Here it is. Look at this spot. Weak structure. I mean, we didn't have it here, but it was a previous spot before of liquidation, right?
That's a good observation. I never noticed that.
Spend a lot of time. Speaking of that, I do have to get going. It's almost 10:30. I'm going to be leaving in about a half an hour. I'm going to get my ass whooped at Top Golf, Angry Bird style. But I appreciate everyone hanging out with me. Everyone on the stream, everyone in the Zoom. We'll be back at it. I want to do the replay thing on Saturday, either Saturday or Sunday. It just depends. And so if any of you guys can join, just I'll just shoot a message in the Discord and say, hey, if you guys can join and just watch the presentation, and then type the questions in. That way we can that way I can record and then edit it to finish up this fucking boot camp. And then the only thing left is really to get James to record that order flow class, and then that class might just have to come later though. So there's a cessation. I just love that word. Cessation. So fancy. It's like my fucking coffee over here. Fancy as fuck.
Is that Spanish for stopped out? Because I'm one tick away.
Baxter, I don't speak Spanish. But yeah, it does mean stop. Yeah, Senpai, thank you. Thanks for hanging out, man. Thanks for asking questions. But yeah, we'll try to get that recorded this weekend and then get everything out whenever I'm done editing that video. And then we'll be back on Monday, same time, 8:30. So
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for hanging out. And then make sure you are managing risk and sticking to your trade plan. And remember, if Jared gets on, he's like, I'm short, be like, okay. And just hit the long button and you'll be good to go.
Dude, that's exactly what happened right there. Like, identical.
Yo, Brad, you think that's a bad idea? Like how I'm doing it? I'm getting in. Well, I got in on a long from the low, and then I took a short at the high, and then I just hold them open to see which way it goes.
So, I mean, it's a strategy in like the stocks, in like options. Sometimes I like to do that. I run, it's called a strangle. Um, the only thing that can screw you is if price doesn't move. The difference with the way that you're doing it is you don't have any theta killing you, so you can control time, time decay. The the tough part is, let's say you're not watching and it goes down and you could have made profit on your short, and then it comes back up and you could have made profit on your long.
So every time it goes to the lows, I'll take 10% profit on the short, and if it's up at the highs, I'll take 10% profit on the longs.
Yeah, I mean that's you just got to make sure that it's not counterproductive. I mean, for me, I think that you don't need to do that. I think just trade. Well, with crypto, it's so much different. With crypto, it's advantageous to hedge your position like that. I think it's actually good. But in the futures market, it's definitely not really necessary. But with crypto, because a lot of times what it will do is it'll break a level, and then crypto a lot of times it will like break a level and then it'll just come right back. And it'll break the level again, it'll come right back. So it makes sense what you're doing. The only thing is you don't want to get caught in is if it does one of these. Because what's going to happen is if you're long, I mean you're short from up here and long from down here, so you're good. But if this thing rips like this, like yeah, you'll make money on your long, but you're probably gonna lose just as much on that short unless you cut that short quick. So if you're not watching, it can really, I think, get you in some hot water. I think that
I won't cut the short though. I'll let the short get stopped out in profit right before my entry. And if it doesn't come all the way to my stop, I'll add a little bit when it starts to roll back down.
yeah, and that's as long as we stay in the range in this 36 to 42 range. So you're kind of running straddle because outside of these areas, I mean, I guess you would cut it, but the thing is you're gonna miss this upside. It's not gonna be as I mean, it's not. There's really
You're
just
right.
like both ways
You're
to look at
absolutely
it, you know.
You're right. I will miss the upside, the negative on the short, because the short will go back to zero or almost.
Exactly. So like, let's say if
But the long has been added to while it's been at the lows, and a run up would totally be profitable.
right, and that's the thing because I don't know how your position is set up, so it's so hard to tell. But if it was just like a 1 for 1, like if you were one Bitcoin short, one Bitcoin long, it would be counterproductive. But the way that you're doing it is, I mean, it's more of a professional, like a more of a trading desk way to do it because what you're doing is uh you're basically getting down to delta neutral. So no matter which way it goes, you're not going to lose money no matter
I
what.
I win no matter what.
Exactly. And if you
As
can
long
get
as
to
I
that
play it
point,
right.
right.
Because it could be counterproductive at a point, like you said.
So it
But as
could,
long as you pay attention, I should be okay.
yeah. And if you're using stops too, then yeah, you shouldn't have it.
Always stops in crypto, man. You don't want to walk away from your computer. That thing can run and you'll be done.
Yeah, Elon gets on and he's like, "Bye." Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna get changed and go hit some golf balls. You guys have a wonderful weekend. I do want to do a recap video probably Sunday night. Just when I make the trade, when I get on to do the trade view, I'll probably just stream it. We can just go over the market together and what to expect next week, and then look at some crypto. Now that we're back to streaming, I want to start getting some plays. But other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure you are managing risk and sticking to your trade plan. And I will catch you guys later.